use the chat or to raise your hand if you wanna participate. I mean, we're a small group, so we could definitely unmute yourself if you have any thoughts. But as somebody else is talking, please do mute yourself. Well, as you all know, you can drag your cursor and see the mic icon in the chat on your left to mute and unmute. And we also have the chat box in the middle of the bottom part of the screen if you want to write to the group. If you'd like to resize your title slides and the speaker slide, you can definitely click and drag the two small vertical bars between the two screens to the left. So right now you probably have the little faces on one side and the presentation in another one. Right in between, there is two lines, two bars that you can click and drag, so you can resize at your preference. We also want to make sure that everybody's aware that we are recording this presentation, and the idea for that is just to be able to share with all the people registered and attending. So you are free to share that if you want, and we will send a link as soon as we can. And you will receive a copy of materials that we present during the day. So with that, I really want to just welcome you all to this program. I'm really happy to connect with all of you. And we'll get to know each other in a little bit, but I'll just turn it over to Heidi for the agenda of the day. Heidi, you are muted.
I am muted. We're going to do some introductions in a minute, and since we are a small group, we're going to do them all, verbally and out loud. When we have a lot of people, we just have them type into chat. But we're also going to talk a little bit about what's new at Cameo. Most of you know what Cameo does, so we'll go over those briefly. But just to kind of show you how we formulated our thinking around what we do. Then we'll have a discussion on how COVID's turned us upside down, how we're going, where we're going with this. And then you all should have gotten, hopefully you went out last night and got the ingredients you need to make a yummy Central Coast smoothie with me. I'll get to drink it, and we made him last week, and we'll give you the recipe if you didn't. And then we have Maria Gonzalez, is the owner with Cali Dog. We spoke with her yesterday. She's great. She's a client at the kitchen, and she'll be joining us to have show us some recipes with her vegan dogs. And she does ship, and she sells out of the kitchen. So she is the reason why we do the work that we do. So we like to have a local client. So we do, and we will be having Maria join us at around 4:30. So with that, I'll kick it back to Carolina. You want me to facilitate the introductions, or?
Yeah, if you want, go ahead.
Sure. Everybody, I will call on you. Let us say your name, where your organization, one sentence about what you do, and then what's touching your heart. What are you thinking about today? What's moving you right now? There's so much going on today. So we had a really good conversation with our board yesterday. So that was really cool. And I just want to acknowledge we're lucky that we're virtual today, because I'm going to call on her first. We are able to include people that we don't normally see at these meetings, all the way down to Santa Barbara, which I'm not sure why we call Santa Barbara our Central Coast, but yeah, go ahead and stop sharing, Melissa, sorry. I'm going to call on Nikki to introduce herself. We're lucky to have Nikki and Chuck from places that we wouldn't normally have, because it's too long to travel for a day, for an afternoon lunch. So Nikki, you want to start us off?
Yeah, hi. You can hear me, right? So I always consider us in the Central Coast. We're definitely in the Central Coast. Anywhere north of Ventura, I think of the Central Coast. Okay. That's the sort of delineation between LA and Central Coast. So thank you. I'm happy to be here. My name is Nikki Parr. I'm the Associate Director of Strategic Initiatives at Weave. And what that really means is Weave is going through a big transformation as an organization right now. And we're just trying to figure out how to best serve our clients going forward. And I'm helping the CEO with getting that figured out and implemented. What is touching my heart right now? We are hosting a webinar tomorrow morning on how to be a persuasive speaker. And we asked some clients to give examples of situations where they want to be able to communicate more confidently. And it's just, that's what's touching my heart, is reading some of those examples of our clients that really want to convey, you know, what they do and how great they are, and to step forward into that with confidence and win over their clients and earn a living and make the world a better place. So that's what's touching my heart. Tends to do that most days. So it's nice to be here with you.
Thanks, Nikki. I like how you were so specific about that. So thank you. And well, the next furthest, and thanks for the education on the Central Coast. I did not know that. I always wondered, because you know you're only like 2 hours from LA, or maybe 3 hours with traffic. So it was but the next furthest. I think we lost Norma, unless she's on one of Chuck's. Chuck signed in here twice. But so Chuck, let's have you unmute yourself and say hello, and I'll give it to you.
Sure, appreciate that. We cover the 3 counties, Kern, San Luis Obispo, and Monterey, and we're in the middle of grant applications right now for the renewal. So I'm going to have to leave a little early, but I wanted to drop in and say hello. What's touching us is we're working on how to do one webinar, one class, and reach all 3 counties with it. You know, and it's not always as simple as just, you know, getting the right people on Facebook or Instagram. You know, a lot of times it's who you know and who you can touch one-to-one to get them to sign up, because it's still high touch, especially with women for the Women's Business Center projects and classes. You know, they want to feel supported and know that we can help them. So we're doing that. So anyway, thank you for doing this.
Thanks, Chuck. It's great to have you here. It's really nice for this to be like that.
I made wonderful contacts over the years at your in-person meetings. So
one day soon. Hopefully, well, I don't know how soon, but all right. Let's go up the coast, and I'm just gonna go how I see people on the screen. Let's move to Lori.
Hi, this is Lori Van Beber with Cal Coastal, and I'm sorry, the question was what? oh,
Oops, your name, role, what you do. So Cal
okay.
Coastal, yeah, and what's touching your heart?
My heart. Okay, so what I do with Cal Coastal is I am the marketing director, and I handle the larger 504 loans, the loans to purchase real estate, and I also handle the microloan program. So I get both ends of that. And what makes my heart happy is kind people.
I like that. I like that. What's a random act of kindness you sort of felt over the last?
Well, I've
seen
seen lots of them as we have gone through this whole thing. But I would just say that, you know, people helping other people even when they don't have to.
All right, let's move to one of the Cameo staffs. I'm going to call on Melissa first.
Hi, my name's Melissa. I'm a little bit new to Cameo. I work in SoCal, actually, in Los Angeles, and I'm the SoCal program manager, and I work with a collaborative called Entrepreneurship Advantage down there, a Cameo program. And I also help Heidi and the rest of the team statewide with meetings like this. what's touching my heart right now? I mean, I guess I have to say what always touches my heart, especially when things are hard, is kind people, like like the like the last caller said. So yeah, I don't really have any specific examples right now, but yeah. Oh, and I guess videos. Well, I was watching something nice today, like a video of like an animal and a baby, or a dog and a baby. Those are always nice. Always a nice pick me up.
Hey, Melissa, your job right now is to go on and get us a cute puppy and a cat photo that you can share in a moment.
Okay.
This is the purpose of these, is just to sort of, is to break out of our thing and start to think and you know, have a conversation. So if cats and dogs are making you feel warm and fuzzy, that's great. Let's move to Reggie. Hi, Reggie. Good to see you.
Hi, everybody. Hi, Heidi. Thanks. And I'm so sorry to have missed a few of the earlier introductions. I got stuck on a hiring call and that had some urgency. I'm Reggie, the Executive Director of California Farm Link, based here in Santa Cruz, and our main office is in Aptos. And we make loans statewide to small farmers, and we have a couple staff in Sacramento and another staff person in Sonoma, Marin, serving the North Coast area. And that's what I do. I've been working with farmers for 30 years. So, and I farmed for about 4 years on a small organic farm here in Santa Cruz County. So I've been steeped in this world for a long time, and we became a CDFI in 2013. And we just finished making 105 PPP loans to small farmers. So that was pretty awesome. And you know, most of them quite small. I think it was a total of about 2.5 million. Wow. And well, one thing that has touched my heart recently is a failure of a small flower grower due to COVID that just, you know, was doing so well, and their story was amazing. And then they just got completely shut down by COVID. And we're you know, dealing with that. And now it's a sad story, unfortunately. So
there's no chance. There's no.
Yeah, they just hunkered down and went into a shell and just started heading towards bankruptcy, and you know, this difficult situation, but such a turn of events. Yeah, so sorry, it's a sad story to share, but
no, I think that's part of what's happening right now, is there are these sad stories, and life is not grand right now. It is, everybody's dealing with a lot of stuff. How about, and Reggie, keep that in mind for when we discuss this, you know, because that could be, you know, it could be interesting to hear how you're trying to help them and what you're doing for them when we get into a little bit of the COVID discussion, because unfortunately that is going to be part of our reality, right? Amy, you want to say hello?
Okay, this is Amy Mascareñas with El Pajaro CEC in Watsonville. I'm working from home in SoCal, which is just slightly, not SoCal, but SoCal, slightly north of Watsonville. And I'm the Grants and Programs Manager at El Pajaro CCC, so I do all the reporting, grant writing, nagging of people to get their stuff in. And what touched me this morning was that the sun was actually a sort of normal color today. And the birds were kind of reacting, and the squirrels, because I look out onto the back fence where it's kind of the squirrel highway. It just kind of seemed a little bit more normal today. So that helped me a lot.
Awesome. Thanks, Amy. Yeah, I'm kind of feeling the same way. I'm like so grateful for cleaner. We're not totally clean here, but cleaner air. Emily, let's introduce you.
Hi, everybody. I'm Emily Gasner. I'm the VP of Strategic Initiatives at Cameo. and former CEO and founder of Working Solutions micro lender in the Bay Area. And sorry I missed some of the earlier introductions. We're answering what's touching to us today. Was that the question? Okay. When I woke up, I live in San Francisco, and all those, schools are closed here, but they officially started this week the learning hubs for kids who are homeless in foster care. And they've already, so 800 kids started this week, and they had a story about it on SF Gate. And the last line was just talking to a kid who had just gone down the slide, and he said, "This is the first time I've done this in 6 months. It feels great." And so that just got me all teared up, just hearing about kids being able to interact with each other. So
Yeah.
and the change in the air today is like making me feel so incredible.
I think yesterday we had a call, and it was, things, some people aren't feeling all that great. And, there was a little, one person said something that was, Leonard Cohen, what he said, let the crack and let the light come in. And that's how I don't remember the quote. Somebody can find the quote. But Erwin, you want to say hello? Erwin, you're like our biggest fan.
I don't know about biggest fan, because you guys got a lot of fans. So Erwin Reeves, FDIC, I work at Federal Deposit Insurance Corporation. I work in community affairs, and the combined statistical Bay Area is my service area, part of my service area. So from Sonoma through the Central Coast, kind of east of the Central Valley. What's on my heart is, it's very refreshing, and I understand about the small business, and that's a story that also needs to be told, but it's refreshing to hear people talk about kindness, and it's not something that's happening a lot right now. I myself did a random act of kindness today. I'm not going to talk about it, but it was just something that hit me, and there was no reason for it. But it felt good, and I was feeling good about some things that have happened both today and some work I've been putting in. So it was an opportunity to just share, and then I left. So it was cool, and
Yeah.
I don't think they know, and that was the coolest part to me. Wishing everyone well, and that's it.
Thanks, Erwin. It's good. It's always good to see you. Carmen, you want to say hello?
You're muted, Carmen.
Oh, yeah.
Sorry, I was listening. I just wanted to find something. So I'm Carmen, Executive Director for El Pájaro Community Development Corporation with service, and I work with Amy and Cesario. So our mission is to promote equal access to economic opportunity, and we do that through supporting start and expansion of small micro businesses. Our focus is a lot on serving the disadvantaged entrepreneurs. 85% of our entrepreneurs are Latino immigrant. We have a kitchen incubator, a retail incubator, and we do a lot of classes. And did I already said that we service Santa Cruz, Monterey, and San Benito counties? So I guess that's a good overview. And what touches my heart, I think this morning before I was leaving my home, I have a little nephew that lives with me that has 5 years old, and just seeing his cute face, like wanting to say bye, but he was already starting on his, because he's taking kinder classes online. So he was just trying to be funny, and he was like doing this with his eyes and just trying to say bye. And he's like super cute. So seeing his face, that touches and helps, I think that right now also in trying to cope with everything going on. Like I really pay attention to simple things. The other day I was telling people that just seeing that I'm not a big gardener, but I have some flowers in my house and I really like flowers, and just seeing that they're still blooming, and it's like it doesn't matter what happens, but the flowers are still blooming. So that's good, you know.
Awesome.
And if I find a cute picture of my nephew, I'll share that with you. I was
Yeah,
looking for
sure. We can give you sharing screen permission. Yeah, nature, simple things resonate with me too, Carmen, for sure.
Thank you, and nice to see you all.
Yeah. And Susan, I don't know if you know everybody on the call. Susan is with Cameo.
Yes, hi. I know most of the people on the call, not everybody. Nice to see you. Reggie, haven't seen you for ages. Nice to see you. And Dan, I don't think I've seen you for a long time. Anyways, yes, I am VP of Capacity Building and Training at Cameo. I've been in the industry a long time, and yeah, a lot of things touch my heart. I just, you know, I do find some of our social and political issues really heartbreaking and very challenging for me. But I will share two positive things. One is my little doggie and my daughter. There's a picture of them. They lighten up my day. And the other is we just did our 6th class for our new online micro lending underwriting class, and I had everyone do evaluations, and they're mostly really positive. People said really generous things about it. So I'm glad it went well and that it worked for people. So that made me feel good.
Oh, thanks, Susan. Good. That's great to hear.
Yeah.
We can tell you guys a little bit more about it if you don't know. And I think, let's see, Cesario, are you here? Or are you getting ready? Let's give Cesario a moment. Cesario is here. He unmuted.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, say hello.
Hello, everyone. I'm Cesario, and I am the kitchen manager for El Pájaro CDC. We're working on setting up a little cooking station in one of the rooms that we have because our entrepreneur Maria will be giving you a little taste of some yummy hot dogs, and looking forward for that. I think we're gonna jump in around 4:30 or so. So in the meantime, we're just gonna get started here. But it's nice to be in here.
Awesome. Thanks, Cesario. And and Brad, yeah, I thought that was you, although you logged in as Dan. So
yeah, I came in on Dan's link, and I didn't realize that it had the wrong name until Susan said, and Dan, and I thought, no, Dan's not in here.
I was like, yeah, that's Dan.
It was me.
Anyway, it's good to see you again, Brad. We met last year.
Oh, sorry.
That's okay. No problem, Susan.
Dan in a long time.
I did think you looked a little different, but it's been a long time.
So I think we've got everybody except for I'll boot it to Carolina to after you
wanna
let's let Brad go first, and then I'll boot it to you.
Okay. So, yeah, Brad Barbeau, I'm with the Institute for Innovation and Economic Development at Cal State Monterey Bay. I work with Dan, who will be joining us. I believe he had another meeting that ran over, as did I. We do entrepreneurial events throughout the year. We have a hackathon that actually runs next week. And then the week after that, we're running our biggest event of the year, the Startup Investment and Community Capital Expo. And we still got a couple of slots open for companies to pitch at that. And then we have a startup weekend coming up in January, which we're doing a big redesign for, taking it online. And then Startup Challenge, our big new venture competition in the spring. We run a monthly tech meetup. We call it a tech meetup, but it's really an entrepreneurs meetup. And we also have a virtual incubator, the Startup Launchpad Incubator. So we run all of those programs out of CSUMB. We're about 2/3 community members and about 1/3 students in our programming. So we definitely serve the region and really emphasize partnering with other organizations in the region. It's nice to be back in this group again.
Thank you, Brad. And I suppose I should, before booting it to Carolina and King, I should say what touches my heart. I'm a little where Susan is. I'm a little heartbroken about things that are going on and some of the not so nice things. But I don't think we want to dwell too much on that for this conversation. So I will.
I'll take that to a positive side, though, if you want, which is, yeah. I forgot that part, but so we were evacuated as part of the river fire, and very much watching the community pull together so strongly for that, which is a nice counterpoint to, as you said, Heidi, it's been a year. And the community has not pulled together around many things, but boy, around those fires, it has really, really pulled together. And that's been a wonderful counterpoint.
Yeah. I've heard that from several places that their community has really stepped up and been gracious. And just if anybody knows anybody who needs housing for any reason whatsoever, we have a basement apartment. Like somebody is missing, if anybody, please get in touch with me. You all have my email, and we're happy to make that available to someone. And I think we have someone joined. I think that might be Norma, who's joined under Chuck. So before we go to Carol, we have one more, then we'll go to Carolina. Since most of you, I think this are what Cameo is about. You know mostly what we're about, so it'll be short. But Norma?
Thanks, Heidi. This is actually Charlene Rosales.
Oh,
I'm with Mission Community Services Corporation. I work with Chuck at the Women's Business Centers. And so I'm based in San Luis Obispo, and we have our other centers serving Kern and Monterey counties. I'm the Deputy Director and COVID Manager. So I oversee the implementation and tracking of our CARES Act money and all things COVID related. So I'm really excited to be here. This is my first time at this meeting. And I'm just starting just the very beginning of my third month in working for the Women's Business Centers. So hello, everybody.
Great. And apologies, I've never met you, obviously, because, but I've also never met Norma in person, so apologies. And she was on before, so so I thought that maybe you were her, so apologies for that. Yeah. Okay, and
thank you.
No, welcome. And it's a good group of colleagues, I think, that you'll enjoy. You can tell we're trying to have conversation. Feel free to open. And now I'm gonna turn it over to Carolina. To Melissa, if you could share your screen and just to talk a little bit about what's happening at Cameo, and then we'll get into some fun / discussion.
Sure. Thank you, Heidi. And I'll just, before I get started here, I just want to say that we'll really just share with you what really touches my heart. And there is two things, really. One is the resilience of the community and all of the network or participants. I mean, to see everybody working like overtime with non-stop all these months to really make it happen for the small businesses that they serve it really fills my heart with hope. And I think hope is really what can get us going. So I am really proud and privileged to be able to work with so many amazing people around the state in this particularly trying times. So thank you all for doing that. We do wanted to just give you an idea again of what we're doing right now with Cameo. It's been a very busy few months. I think we've shared with you in the regionals meeting where we've had about what our main pillars are and what our focus will be. And we continue to focus on those pillars that you're seeing in the screen. So we do a lot of advocacy, we're trying to expand resources, we're convening, and we are building the hopes. But what I wanted to say is, like, not only we've been able to continue focusing in those pillars and hopes, but really how could we create value in an era where we are really just kind of guessing and assuming what everybody needs, because it is very hard. Everything is changing every day, and at some point it was changing by the minute. I kept saying it. So bring that value to all our network when you are trying to assess what's the best route forward has been a challenge for us. I don't know, Melissa, if you have the four pillars slide after this, or no, or just this one. Okay. So what I'm sorry.
You can, Melissa, you can advance the slide.
Okay, so what we've focused in Cameo, and I hope all of you have been engaged in one way or another, is to build a lot of really capacity building programs to help you streamline your processes. We've really understand how overwhelmed the majority of our network has been with the calls from small businesses and the needs they have for capital, for TA, for rethinking their business model and just kind of reacting to the circumstances as fast as they can. So what Cameo has been really focused on is how do we help you be more efficient. So with that, we try to really simplify a lot of processes, programs that you should be aware of, and just listening to you. So we've put together a lot of online programs to be in permanent contact with you guys, and also to listen to you about what you are seeing on the ground and what your clients are asking and what are your needs. So we've been actually, I feel like we've been in calls and we keep saying like how our industry became more like a first responder for small businesses. And that has been really our priorities. Like, how do we help you be the first responder for them? They're calling you, and we want to make sure that we have tools available for you. With that, we've been putting a lot in terms of the lenders to help them streamline their processes. And as Susan was mentioning earlier, we've put our underwriting program online, which is the secondary, the micro lending essentials. Today was the last day of the first virtual program, but the demand was so high that we actually have a waiting list pretty much all filled up. But what that means is we're going to open another program probably in the next couple of months, also online, also virtually. If you're interested in building your underwriting criteria, if you're doing loans, or if you want to learn a little bit more about that aspect, if you're a TA provider and are working on the loan packaging. So please do reach out if you're interested in that program, as we are building that waiting list right now. We've also are going to host a listening session on September 18th, this Friday. We really want to make sure that we are in permanent contact with you, that we are really listening. I know the needs of the small businesses have changed, so have your needs as an organization. So we want to keep in communications to just share what you're seeing. If you have anything that has worked really good, it'll be really a good opportunity for you to share with other organizations or hear from other organizations what they're doing. So please do, and I will, if they just put the link in there, if you are able to join us. We are putting another webinar for supporting women entrepreneurs in a female recession in September 24th. And we definitely want to bring up to your attention our coronavirus, our COVID-19 resources page. So we've been paying a lot of attention to everything that you guys are doing. I mean, obviously it's not perfect. There's so many resources available that has been a good, we are trying to keep up with them, but we've actually tried to put it like at the state level, at the local level, and for your clients, for policy and all of that. So you can definitely keep in checking that page, and if there is a resource that you are able to provide or are you providing and we don't have it in there, please also let us know so we can include it. We are constantly sharing those resources with the network to help you and all of the organizations kind of find them easily and faster. So I believe Melissa was putting all the links for these programs in there. There is a lot of interest on our part on Cameo on just keep talking to you and keep sharing as many resources as we can. So I think with that I'll just probably turn it over to you, Heidi, to get the program started, and be happy to, if you have any questions about these programs or any thoughts about us. Obviously this is a great space for us to talk, but our main goal here was to share these upcoming programs and just keep reinforcing the idea that we've been really we are here to help you. So the same way you are all been there for the small businesses and the clients that have been suffering through this, we want to make sure that we're able to support your efforts. Thank you again for that, and I'll turn it over to you, Heidi.
Great, thank you, Carolina. I am going to ask the Cameo staff to, we're running a tiny inkling behind because we had such nice conversation in the beginning. I'm going to ask the Cameo staff to check to see who has the polls and chime in. I'm not sure who, Carolina doesn't. Susan or Emily, I think one of you were the last people to chime in. Emily, do you have poll capabilities?
Well, let me see. Yes, I do.
Excellent. You are the poll. You are the winner.
That's a big mystery for us.
So just launch the polling?
Yeah, I'm going to skip a couple of the questions, though. I'm going to go right to the question that starts. During the period that includes the Great Recession, that first question, that says blank net jobs were created by California micro businesses. So if you could launch that question and everybody could take an answer.
Okay, I launched it. Let's see if it worked.
Can everybody see that? If you're on screen, raise your hand if you can see it. Okay, so go ahead and it's launched. Just to get us started in our discussion here. It's a pop quiz. It's not really a poll, it's a pop quiz.
All right, we have a 9 of 11 people, so I'm assuming.
I think that's probably it. So
okay, so end the polling.
End the polling, and read the results. Who got the most?
Let's see, and I had shared it as well, so hopefully you can see this. But the most results, 56%, was 580,000, and then we had 22% each at the 220,000 and the 920,000 level.
Good try, good guess, but we did better than that. Whoever answered 920 got the answer right. So don't forget that is an 8-year period, but before and after the Great Recession, small micro businesses created the most jobs out of any job class at job size. And then launch the next one. Starts the same way, but we're going to look at large businesses.
Okay.
And you think you've got most everybody here?
2 more people are being shy. Okay, here we go. So 67% said net loss of 292,000 jobs.
And you guys were correct. Kind of tipped off from the answer to the last question, and maybe you knew that or maybe you didn't, but yeah, big businesses lost, had a net job loss from employers. And then, you know, I put these two kind of stats out there. I had some more, if we need more time, we can do them at the end, but it just is kind of fun to basically show the importance of all the work that we're doing and all the work that working with these small and micro businesses is they're coming into this recession. They're going to be the ones who are creating jobs as we come into our recovery. And the work that you do is super important. Another stat is that when entrepreneurs get training, any kind of coaching, whether it be, you know, through your startup pitches, Brad, or through Carmen's classes, or Reggie, I know you guys work a lot with small farmers, and Chuck, the work at the women's business, whatever work it is that you do, and Nikki, whatever work that you all do, training suit matters. Business owners are 80% likely to be in business 5 years from when they start if they've gotten some kind of training and roped into a community. So, you know, to open up our COVID question, we'd like to want to know if you want to just type this one into chat real quick about, for those of you who are service providers, what has been the change in service that you're seeing post-COVID as referred to pre-COVID? For example, you know, did you see, how many clients did you see a month, or how many loans did you make? I know, Reggie, you said you just made 100 PPP loans. Yeah, I don't, you know, what were you doing pre-COVID, and how has your activity changed? If you want to just type in some of those things that you guys are seeing.
Can you repeat again what you want?
How has the demand for your services changed? So you're saying, like, you know, my wait list for my kitchen incubator has tripled, or not, or it's declined. I don't know, you know, whatever your change in services. I mean, I'll say from a Cameo perspective, you know, the sort of the demand for information has just skyrocketed. People just want to know, and people are just showing up. I mean, our webinars and our trainings are just, you know, like Susan said, we posted microlending essentials online and we were sold out. We already have another class full and haven't even advertised it yet. So Chuck has been seeing class starting at we have a class starting for need to prep. Thanks for hosting. Okay, good to see you, Chuck. We'll see you soon. So Nikki's doubled the volume of loans, doubled the volume of advisory, over 600 for clients that you never, so the clients are new or webinars are new?
Sorry, webinars are new. We started those like 2 weeks after COVID hit us, and we're doing them weekly and then bi-weekly and now monthly, completely new.
Yeah. That's great. And your clients received, Carmen, 7 million in CARE Act funds. Really? Wow, Carmen, that's huge. That's really, and your access, wow, that's amazing. Loan portfolio went from 90 loans to over 200, so doubling for 175 borrowers. That is, I mean, is this great? Is it good? Or is it, I mean, so yeah, we're helping people. These people got their loans, but how are they, I mean, mostly, you know, on the overall, Reggie, is it mostly a good thing, or?
Yes, absolutely. I mean, it's been taxing and trying on our loan team because we kind of took on a lot to amp up that quickly. And another good thing is that we, while about 25–30% of the additional loans went to existing clients, 75% went to complete clients. So we established a lot of new relationships with Southeast Asian farmers in Fresno County through a partnership with the Asian Business Resource Center there. So new partnerships, new relationships with small farmers. Yeah. exciting and challenging.
Exciting and challenging. That's good. That's kind of an interesting topic to address, and on how everybody's staff is doing, right? And how to keep the staff sane. That's great. So we're gonna launch our next poll about funds for the community, just because I know, and I'm asking this because people are asking us about what our members are doing and what they're seeing. So I'm trying to capture some of this, a little bit of this data. So thank you, appreciate that. So Emily, if you could, I think it probably is the last question. Are you providing funds to your community in response to COVID? And there's a whole bunch of choices on there, and you can check all that apply.
It's just one response, not.
Oh, you can't. You can't check.
Let's check one at a time.
Oh, darn, shoot. Oh, I guess in the poll you can't do multiple choice. Carmen, why don't you go ahead and tell us what you were able to do and what you're working on as far as funding?
Well, we created the emergency loan in partnership with another CDFI, MEDA. We're not the lender, but we were able to support our clients with PPP, including, current and other clients. And we didn't create a grant fund, but we did work with the city to create one and it was a co-creation and manage one.
That counts.
How
big was that grant fund?
100,000.
And how many grants did you make?
60.
Wow. Okay.
Average 1575. Is that right, Amy?
Yep.
Amy, are you there? It was 60, maybe 62 grants, and the average was 1575. Yeah.
Great.
I'm here. I have a lot of construction noise today, and that was correct. Yes. Sorry.
What about?
We also have done advocacy so we were able to get the county and the really push the Workforce Development Board to take the CARES Act money and create a better grant program that they wanted. They were thinking on giving $1,000, $2,000 grants. So I noticed that San Benito Workforce Development Board was doing $15,000 grants using, Workforce Development Board. So I'm on the Workforce Development Board, so I'm a member. So I pushed the director to look into that, and we ended up getting a program like that. So actually today is the deadline, and we got $1.1 million for small businesses. And then we also advocated for equity in the way of them distributing the funds, so that South County being the most, this was a push with other colleagues and other that do human services. So we were able to get, I think 60 or 65% of the funds to be allocated to South County businesses, because we were the most, the South County has been the most impacted by COVID. So we wanted that as one of the measurements for equity in this. So it was very interesting actually to do that.
Congrats. It's awesome.
That's amazing. South County, you mean Monterey County?
No, in Santa Cruz. This was in Santa Cruz.
You're
yeah.
in Santa Cruz. Okay, Santa Cruz. Okay.
And the loan program was for 2 counties. So we ended getting $1 million from the Community Foundation in Monterey County and $500,000 from Santa Cruz County for the special loan program.
That's fantastic. What about you, Brad? What's happening in what have you guys done as far as helping businesses and getting businesses what they need?
So we did a project with the city of Marina in getting the word out and helping some of the restaurants there. And then we're not a lender, so we don't have the lending numbers out there. We're also a part of the Get Virtual project, which was started up in Santa Cruz. It's a student-based project with students working with businesses to help them get online, to get websites built, get their social media going, get so they can take payments online, whatever's needed to help them compete in the virtual world. So that project is a big one. And then we have a grant proposal into the EDA to vastly expand our technical assistance to small businesses. And if the EDA would get its decision-making going, we could get started on working on that. We've been waiting a couple of months for that to come through.
Nikki,
But we're actually, from this, doing a little bit of a pivot. We're not leaving startups behind, but we've been 100% in the startup world, and this is pushing us to get involved with the existing businesses.
Mm-hmm. And Brad, is your Nikki had a question. You can go ahead and unmute yourself, Nikki.
That's fine. I'm British. I don't want to crash in. Brad, that project sounds really interesting, that you're helping existing businesses get online with websites and e-commerce. And can you just remind me of the name of that?
It's called Get Virtual. The website, the base website for it is getvirtual.org.
Thank you.
And it's student-based, but they're looking to expand to other universities. Right now, there's a group at UCSC, a group at CSUMB, a group at Santa Clara, and a group at the UCSC extension that's over in the Valley. And they're talking to universities across the country. So.
Yeah, we're pretty close to CSUCI, so, and Cindy Sherman at the entrepreneurship program. So I'll connect the dots.
Absolutely.
On that. Thank
That'd be great. Yeah, if they reach out to me, I'll help them connect them to Toby and that group. Yeah.
Cool. And can anybody participate, Brad, in those programs? So can like Carmen send people, and do you have Spanish speakers?
We do have Spanish speakers among the students, and anybody, they do an intake interview to qualify companies. They need to be companies that have had revenues, so it's not really for the startup world. They need to be companies that have been hurt by the emergency around COVID, and that don't have the resources to reach out and use a regular marketing agency to get their website going. We're not trying to compete with marketing agencies. We're trying to help those companies who don't have the resources. Yeah, absolutely. Carmen's probably got several companies that would be perfect.
Yeah, cool. And Reggie, I don't know if you're still there, but if you are, if not, I'll go into Nikki. Oh, and Lori.
I'm here.
Reggie, go. Go ahead, Reggie.
Sorry, what's the question?
Oh, just so you've doubled your volume of loans, and you know more things. You've done PPP. Is there anything else you want to share about what else you're doing?
Yeah, so we have a lot of educational programming for small farmers as well. So our big areas are land access, as well as capital access. We're in our second year of business resilience courses that are being spearheaded by our staff person in Sonoma area. And we are also in the process of designing a new wealth building educational program here in the Santa Cruz Monterey area. That'll be a Spanish language program. And we've been partnering quite a bit with El Pajaro CDC over the last couple of years on educational programming and sending people their way and vice versa and that kind of thing, and learning more about the kinds of programs that El Pajaro offers and how they can complement what we offer. And we've always done that on and off with the SBDCs as well around here. We also have a farm finance forum that we've done annually for about the last 10 years, moving it around the state into different places. So this will be the first year that that's online. And that's coming up on September 30th in a couple weeks. And it's there'll be a panel of agricultural lenders, and it's kind of regionally focused to some extent in the North Coast, even though it's online. Mostly the lending personnel, including from the Farm Service Agency and Farm Credit, and of course our organization will be panelists as well as farmers who have received loans, talking about their experiences and that kind of thing. Yeah, so educational programming continues full bore.
Excellent. What about? I'm gonna go to Lori because I almost forgot about her because she doesn't have her video on.
No, I couldn't get it turned.
So Lori, you want to?
Yes.
You want to? I'm teasing you, but go ahead.
No.
Anyway, I won't say anything.
So we have been inundated from about March 17th on with because we happen to be, CalCoastal happens to be on the SBA website, and so we're inundated with calls asking how to, so we did a lot of hand holding, trying to get people information, that kind of thing. And then we also were able to, we administer a loan program for Monterey County, and we've put out about $400,000 on that. And that was a maximum loan amount of $25,000. And we also have a state loan guarantee program that is at a lower interest rate for, it's a participation loan where a bank does the loan and then we guarantee up to 85% of the loan. And that was for anyone affected by COVID. We also are looking at getting more funding for that particular program, both the state and and also Monterey County is in the midst of getting more funding to be able to put more money out. And I've been pretty amazed at the amount of loans that are just regular loans, that people are still, there's a lot of people that, or a lot of businesses that were not affected or that were able to shift what they were doing to be able to continue on. And so I've done, we've been doing some real estate purchases. So it's been an interesting time.
Has the market softened, the real estate market softened by you? So it's more affordable or no?
I would say that the appraisals that have come in right at purchase price on all of mine. I have not seen, like we saw in some previous years, where appraisals were coming in, $100,000, $200,000 shy of what the purchase price was. We're not seeing that at all. So far it's been right at purchase price.
Interesting. That was more of a Person.
So it was, you know, it's been a little crazy, especially with the changes that happen every day, and we continue to get those. But we, you know, as long as we can stay on top of them and make sure people are getting the right information, I would say.
Great. And then finally, Nikki, what's you mentioned some of the things about doubling and the size of and going online, and I'm guessing there's more that you guys have done.
Well, I mean, that's plenty. we had a loan product that we created after the wildfires here last time around. That is called our quick response loan. So we kind of wheeled that back out in March, at the end of March, and those are loans that are up to $10,000. Very quick decision, low interest rate, and no repayments for the first 6 months. And we funded 67 of those between March and June for just over $500,000. So that was kind of the very busy activity for our loan team. And then we rolled out, we sort of closed that in sort of June, July time, once the government funding had come online more, because people were using this quick response loan as a sort of bridge until the government funding became available. So then we had something called a restart loan, which is up to $25,000, again, some deferred repayment dates, but we haven't had a huge take up on that. And I think it's probably just a reflection of the fact that people are sort of sitting on their PPP and idle, or, you know, that's what's covering their restart costs. And frankly, just reluctant to take on debt at this point. Our lending team were helping, the Ventura County had a business assistance grant program, and a loans team sort of helped with the reviewing of those grant applications. I think they reviewed something like 2,700 applications. So although we weren't giving out the grants, we were supporting organizations that were just, you know, with administrative manpower. And then in terms of, you know, trainings, we made a decision as COVID started to just put a hold on our regular programming. And in the past, that had been a 14-week intro to business program and a 4-week exploratory entrepreneurship program. And during that period, we've always wanted to kind of update those classes. They haven't really changed much in 20 years, and they were always in person and had a very sort of fixed curriculum. And so now we're having the opportunity to sort of move forward on things that we've been planning to, but it really got catalyzed by COVID in a good way. And so we're piloting some 6-week programs, a 4-week QuickBooks program, a 6-week business plan program, and those are all happening with Zoom. But we're finding, it's interesting, we're shying away a little bit from doing anything too introductory. But it was interesting seeing your statistic about the number of jobs that were created during the last recession, and we are hearing of people that are wanting to start a business. So we probably need to revisit how we're approaching the training, because it's not just existing businesses that need to pivot, rewrite their business plan, look at things afresh. But I think there is still some brave souls that are wanting to launch right now. And then finally, we do offer services in Spanish, and we're not hearing enough from our Spanish-speaking community. We feel that we should be hearing more, and that we need to be doing more to connect with them. And so this is a big focus for our organization as well, is trying to promote outreach and relationships with the community organizations that deal with the Hispanic population.
Thanks for sharing. If anything, if this recession, this recession is not going to be like the last recession. The last recession, lost jobs kind of trickle. Here it was a kind of a quick, so it's anybody's guess on what'll happen with that, and how that'll play out. But usually during recession, it has been shown that people are starting jobs and they can't can't get jobs, there's probably a lag time because they'll look for jobs and then they'll say, oh, wait, I haven't gotten a job. And then they'll, hey, I got to do something. So it kind of turns it into out of necessity. At least that's what the data shows. Obviously, that's at a macro level, not necessarily on a micro level, but so lots of good stuff going on out there. Have you guys been thinking about like the future, 6 months, a year down the line? I mean, and what that looks like, and what the planning is for that. Maybe we'll start with you, Lori, so I don't forget you this time.
Okay. As far as planning, yes, we've been doing lots of that as far as putting together our budgets and our planning, because we have been able to, like I said, still have loans, different programs that are not our normal loan programs, but that we've been able to do. And then our normal loan programs, people are still wanting to start businesses, buying businesses. There's a lot of buying and selling going on as far as people that want to get out of a business and get into a new business, either a new business or a, it's a add-on. So I'm a plumber and, Joe Blow's Plumbing is going to go out of business, so I can buy, his either his business or the equipment, so that it helps them. But things like that, we're seeing some of that kind of more where businesses are going together, and some are going together as a partnership to do that, or they're one's taking over the other. We're entertaining all kinds of different things as far as are there any grants available? What is available not only to us but to the groups that we continue to work with? So,
are you all finding that your organizations are more innovative and more adaptive? Just because, and that might carry into the future?
I think that I do believe that it will. Just the mere fact of not having the in-office meetings. Now everything's online. Everything's a Zoom meeting or online, and so there's a lot of that going on, as well as the majority of our information is all online, so we can do it from anywhere. And so I think that's been, for me, I've been home since March 17th working. So for me, it's been really good. Yeah.
Anybody else want to chime in on that question, or chime in on what they're thinking about for the coming year? Including Amy and Erwin. I didn't mean to leave you all out, but we heard, you were talking about your organizations, but on what you're thinking is going to be happening in the next 6 months to a year in the space, what you're planning for.
I appreciated the time off. I'm actually tired, so from writing, there's too much information. I want a transcript of this, please. From our standpoint, we're going to continue, at least community affairs, we're going to continue to do things virtually. And so we'll look for partnerships to try and promote things in support of not just economic growth and development and community development, but there's a component that continues to rise around actually assessment and understanding what's going on, understanding what needs are. And they are very regionalized. There are some common factors and some common themes, but every region seems to be a little bit different in their need and the nuance to those needs, at least the timing, especially as it relates to business. It's good to hear that some businesses are doing well and they're able to make that conversion. And I think capital needs to be ready for that opportunity that exists. And so I'm kind of making a push. We haven't started. We're about to start working on our business plans, at least trying to plan out events. And I'm hoping, I don't believe I'll be successful, but I'm hoping to try and carve out smaller segments and be able to make sure we're hearing and understanding what's taking place in localized regions. And what I mean by that is something exactly like this. This is focused on the Central Coast. It's taking in counties that have not just common features around economic development, but there's overall themes where there's a good match, and making sure that the financial institutions in those areas are paying attention to that, because they're able to learn more about what's happening by partnering with folks like you. And that's kind of the direction I'm trying to push. And the reason I don't think that I'm going to be successful is that we have a national umbrella. And my argument continues to be, again, not necessarily successfully, but the Bay Area in and of itself is made up of metropolitan statistical areas, micropolitan statistical areas, rural areas, and they butt against that natural definition that says this is what it's supposed to be. And it's broader than that. Yeah. And so how we address things that are taking place related to small farms and small businesses in a county that in reality, because it's cut off because of a mountain range or a highway, is more rural than someplace that's 10 miles north of that, is a big deal. And it needs to be understood. And so it's a challenge when putting a larger umbrella on it. But our approach in the region is that we're just trying to understand as much as we can. At the same time, they're telling us not to do too many events. So part of the reason, Heidi, you keep saying I'm your biggest fan is because this is where I can get information. It's impossible to try and do things the old way. And so we have to be very innovative in how we approach it. And so I greatly appreciate you all sharing your knowledge and your insight. And one day we will meet. Until then, we'll do it like this and continue to try and I'll continue to try and learn from what I'm hearing. So that's really the perspective that I'm working on and developing. And I could say that my colleagues, Spike, for some of those that might know him, Spike Hale and Steve DeJesus and Mary, and there's 5 of us, and we're just trying to understand what's taking place and in a rapidly changing environment that's very, very dynamic. So that's.
Well, I'm glad you have the perspective of understanding and trying to maybe move the needle. And like 10 miles out, separated by a mountain range, is a long time in a different world. So that's interesting. Brad or Nikki, anybody else, Reggie, anybody else want to chime in with their plans? I don't need to, if you want to chime in. Yeah, go ahead, Reggie.
Yeah, and I also forgot to mention about some of the loan products. I'll just briefly, that are, post-COVID loan products kind of thing, briefly mention those too. So we did start an emergency loan program. We kind of set aside $1 million of existing impact investment funds in our loan pool, and told our community of farmers that we would be making 2-year 0% interest loans as emergency loans. And then shortly after that, the CARES Act came to be, and we started making PPP loans. So we made 105 PPP loans and under 10 emergency loans for about 250,000 total versus 2.5 million in PPPs. And then when the fires came, we kind of adapted, growers impacted by the fires into that emergency loan program as well. And I also wanted to mention that we do, ITIN lending that many of you, I'm sure, are familiar with, but for folks who have identification numbers but not social security numbers, and it's a kind of a significant part of our farmers are in that category. And we've been partnering with one investor in particular who wanted to provide a guarantee facility for us. So they put up $1 million to guarantee our ITIN lending that is not eligible for USDA guarantees. No government guarantees for those kinds of loans. So we were reaching the point where we were, starting to get constrained on that type of lending. And so that was really exciting. And then in terms of looking to the future, of course, we've been looking really closely at our portfolio of borrowers and trying to assess who's impacted, who's starting to be delinquent, and who are going to need restructures. The largest part of our portfolio, probably about 80%, is annual operating loans for farms. So we're anticipating a higher number of restructures of those loans than usual for borrowers who aren't going to be able to pay those loans back at the end of this year because they've been adapting to the changes in the markets. So if they were at farmers markets, maybe those closed or they have lower volume. If they were selling through wholesalers that sold to office buildings in Silicon Valley or to schools, any kind of institutional buyers, those were all impacted. And I have the same experience that some others described of, some borrowers are doing great, and there are a surprising amount of normal loans, going out too. But looking towards the future, in terms of particularly the borrowers that are impacted and how are we going to help them through, we're thinking about this product to address that we call a development loan, and it's essentially a working capital loan, much like an annual operating loan, but it would be a 3 or a 5-year term. So while we're restructuring an annual operating loan, we'd be trying for the first time to provide a longer term working capital loan. And so we're trying to bring our investors and supporters into these new ideas, and continue to bring low interest capital so that we can make low interest, longer term working capital loans and give growers some breathing room to get through whatever it's going to take, for this version of the recession. So excited about that, and we'll see how that unfolds.
Nice, really nice.
I wanted to just do a quick little thing. This is Amy with El Pajaro CDC. Since March, we've just been on full force scramble and haven't really looked around to see what's where we're going. And, recently it's kind of slowed to the point where we can actually sit and think about it a little bit more. And we just want to make sure that we remain flexible for the future and be able to, I think the organization has been really flexible to and sensitive to change. And so we're looking at maybe doing a 6-month check-in, see how it's going, what people are needing. We definitely see the need for startup assistance because people are wanting to do it and it makes sense. So that's kind of where we're looking towards the future. We have, credit classes and other things that we planned, but we're just wanting to stay, flexible and make it easy, not mold our clients to what we're offering, but mold our offerings to what our clients need at this time. We don't know what's next. Really, we really don't know what's next. So.
Nice. So that's it. I like that point, molding your offerings to your clients and making sure you're trying to serve their needs and having a lot of conversation. And Erwin, you have your hand raised. I'm going to lower it and you can talk.
So really quickly, this is more so a question for Reggie, but I think it fits for anyone that's lending money. Reggie, your comments were really around patient capital. In a small business sense, which is not traditional. That usually happens on the real estate side. And just based on what you understand right now, how long of a time frame would that be? And I'm asking you to kind of put your wish hat on, and then your best experience hat, knowing what would be considered to be reasonable, but in reality, where you see the need being. And I know that's a wish, this is a crazy question because we don't know what's going to happen. And so I'm just asking for some of for several of you, your kind of professional wisdom on what you see on the ground right now.
Are you talking about, are you referring to sort of the length of term of one of these patient capital loans for operating that we might offer? Or were you also thinking about like terms of investments that we're seeking, or mostly the former, I think?
Actually, both, more so the former, but the follow-up question you've answered, which would be then what kind of patient investment would you need? So it was a two-part question, and you've taken on both parts.
Yeah, so for those development loans, we're calling them for now, we're thinking 3 to 5 years, and I think, and at lower than normal interest rates, right? And we have certain investors that are inspired by helping us, figuring out how to help us get loans out the door, at 0% or at very low percentage rates to ease the pain for people who are suffering from the economy right now. And so they're doing that by providing us with 0% loans along with a grant, for example. But yeah, so we're thinking 3 to 5 years. I think we're going to be getting more resolution on that in terms of how we're going to structure these additional small working capital loans, small being probably 20,000. I'm not even sure, maybe we'll cap it at 50,000, just so a micro loan. And then, yeah, in that investment, the second part of the question, I mean, we generally, we always ask for 10 years, and we accept 5 and sometimes 3, but certainly 5 would be better in these times in particular. And so most of our investments are in the 5 to 10 year range.
Thank you
And
very much.
I'm sorry. I apologize. I do have to leave. This calendar these days seem to be one back to back. So I'm sorry, but I wanted to just say that I'm so happy to see you all and to be able to reconnect. So if we could be of any help, or if you have any ideas that we could continue developing, just please let me or anybody at Cameo know, and keep up the good work. Thank you so much.
I hear some great things happening in the area. It's really, really exciting. We kind of need to wrap up because we have this amazing, we have this Maria. Does anybody have anything else they want to share that's burning? I think I've seen some connections back and forth that people have been like, hey, I might partner with you or might want to connect with you. Is there any, oh, Nikki, go ahead, you have your hand raised.
Yeah, I want to just bring attention to the fact that we're all having to do so much more online and online education. And we really benefited from Cameo's support of some courses around online learning and online teaching. And so we'd say more of that, please.
Okay.
One of our big goals for next year at Weave is to implement a learning management system, to have a portal dedicated to online education. So we're just recognizing that that's just a really important part of what we need to be offering. So we appreciate your support.
Yeah. Fingers crossed. So a little 6 month, 9 month down the road for us, or fingers crossed, we get our Prime grant, and we will be offering that training for free. If we don't get it, we'll have to charge it. We're not 100% sure. It just depends what the other funding. So we are kind of waiting exactly, but there will be more of that if it comes up, fingers crossed. So I wish you could tell the SBA that right now and say, hey, yes, they need their funding so we can continue to serve. And Reggie's ready for his icy. Anybody else? And we can keep this loosey-goosey a little bit. So if you want to talk, I am going to I'm within earshot, but I'm going to mute my mic and walk away. I'm going to go get some ice and my milk and make you guys a virtual frosty Central Coast smoothie. So if you want to just hang on for a second, then we'll head on over to Maria. So give us, Maria, you ready in a couple of minutes? So I'll be right back. And you know, this is our relaxing fun time. So if anybody wants.
It's very good to see you all. It's fun.
Yeah.
So Brad, can you tell us a little more about the Get Virtual? Like if you have any like local businesses that we know that you could share like the information about their experience, and like maybe we can look at their website or something like that. You're muted.
Not sure you're going to be able to hear me if I'm muted. I could get you a list of clients, but I don't have one offhand, and unfortunately, I just I'm not remembering any of the specific companies. There have been a bunch of companies both in Santa Cruz and now some in Monterey. We're really still just getting early traction in Monterey. Most of the projects have been building websites. They've done most of the websites in either Wix or Weebly. Wix is looking at becoming a sponsor of the overall project.
That's great.
Some WordPress websites, a couple. The companies apply through the getvirtual.org website. I put that in the chat. And then the students will reach out, and this project, by the way, is almost entirely student managed. All the day-to-day stuff is student managed. Toby Corey in Santa Cruz was instrumental in starting it there. I brought it down to CSUMB, and I had my summer entrepreneurship class working on it. And now there's a student coordinator who's organized a group of students, and we're also using the CSUMB's service learning program to get students credit for being part of this. It typically takes a fairly short time, a couple, 3 weeks, start to finish, if the website goes smoothly. Some of them have been a little bit trickier, but most of them go fairly quickly. The clients, by the way, do need to pick up any web hosting costs, any direct costs of this, the client picks up, but the students work entirely for free. So it's entirely volunteer on their standpoint. And they're backed up by myself and others who consult to them on web design and help them with technical issues, etc.
That's great. So one of my questions will be, like, what are the kind of the challenges that they have found? Like, one thing that I know is difficult sometimes is for people to get very good pictures for the websites. So I wonder, how do you been resolving that? And
mostly resolving it by they work with what they have, and they've done some optimization of the photos to make sure they're not too large, because that slows down the website, and to improve them where they can. But to my knowledge, they haven't gone out and done photo shoots. They're not really set up to do that kind of work.
Great. I'm gonna interrupt Carmen and suggest you and Brad schedule. You guys chat.
Yeah, that's good. I was asking for everybody.
Yeah. Chat. If anybody wants to connect with Brad, private chat him. You can do that and set up a time right now. Do it. Yeah. And connect with the program. So I think because I want to be respectful of Maria's time. I'm going to kind of go a little quickly here on my Central Coast smoothie. It's really yummy. It has Bailey's in it. I'm going to take some ice and I need a cup. And I'm going to put the ice up into the 1 cup mark in my blender here. And then I'm going to cover it with milk. Yep, that's right. Make sure my milk's still good. And then I'm going to add some cocoa powder. Add towards your liking. You want kind of a light brown. I'm going to start with 1 teaspoon and blend it. And then I'll see if I probably will need to add more. And then I'm also going to add a little bit of sugar. I'm going to start with a 1/2 teaspoon. You can add more if you like. I don't like my drinks on the sweet side. And Bailey's has a lot of sweetness to it. So we're going to do that. And then we're going to add some Bailey's. I'm going to do Bailey's to the count of 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. This is a delicious drink. And then I'm going to blend it.
Sorry, Heidi, you cheated. That was 2.5 on the pour. Sorry. Got to call it. Got to call you out. Sorry.
4 in the pour.
That was 2 of 4.
And I'm going to mute myself while I blend it because it's loud.
I was thinking the same thing. She should have said 1 alligator, 2 alligator, 3 alligator.
Any alligators?
That would be many.
I'm from Florida and I'm terrified of alligators because they were omnipresent in my life growing up. So I would definitely not count with the alligator.
I'm adding it because it's a little light, so probably not as
Duly noted.
chocolatey as it needs to be. And last time I did this, the cocoa and the sugar ended up at the bottom, so I'm letting it go and extra a little.
You want to mute yourself so we don't hear the. Too bad we can't send drinks through Zoom.
I know.
She could.
Sounds jammy, but.
I know. Maybe someday they can be teleported.
Today is actually a margarita day for Mexicans. It's the eve of independence, which is the biggest celebration tonight.
Oh, margarita day. Okay.
Well, not margarita day, but it's like today. It's a day for having a margarita because
I see.
It's the big celebration is tonight.
Well,
my son's class was talking all about it today, Carmen.
Oh, that's good.
He goes to a Spanish immersion school, and most of his classmates' families are from Mexico. Mm-hmm.
Excellent. Well, so now I get to drink my smoothie. You can see it's kind of light chocolate brown. There's enough here for, I forgot the most important ingredient. Then when you pour the smoothie, you get the chocolate flavor that you like. Nice and if you like it darker, you like it really chocolatey, add another teaspoon. I go easy on the cocoa and keep adding because it has a very strong taste. Add a little whiskey. So I'm gonna add a pour 2 because 1, 2. It is almost 5 o'clock, but I gotta run out after this. So anyway, and then stir. Oh, took my stirring away and drink. And now, without further ado, I hope everybody has something they're interested in kicking back with on a Tuesday afternoon, whether it be anything. Now, Cesario, I'm going to hand it over to you. And you're going to introduce us to Maria, who's awesome. We spoke to her yesterday. She's fantastic. You're going to fall in love with her. Cesario, it's all you.
Can you guys hear me?
Yep.
Yes.
Is that good enough? Hello, everyone. Again, I'm Cesario. I manage the community kitchen here in Watsonville. And you guys are getting a really good treat today. Maria came to us last year. And once I tried her products, I was nuts. I went crazy. I've eaten her product many times. And it's pretty fascinating, but I'm not gonna talk anything about the product. I know I like it because the one that created it is here, so I'm gonna leave the floor to her. And if you guys have any questions, I'm gonna be co-assisting around here. So let us know if you have any questions, but she's taking the floor on, and then she's gonna introduce herself and give you a little background of the reason of her business, why she started it, where she thinks this is gonna go in the future, and CDC stuff. I just want to reassure that I am here for her to help her as much as I can to reach those goals that she's got. So I'm just gonna leave it there, and the floor is for Maria.
Buenas tardes, everybody. Mi nombre es María González, and my business is Cali Dog. I started here, actually, I was telling Cesario and Helen yesterday that actually this month marks my 1-year mark of starting Cali Dog. So it's actually a big surprise to see that it's already been a year. Time flies. But so I actually come from a culinary background. I graduated back in 2010. I was living in San Francisco for about like 10 years, and I worked in different types of kitchen. I worked in like corporate kitchens. I worked in small mom and pops. I worked in hotels, different types of atmospheres, and just kind of learned, from every little bit of environments that I worked in. I worked in different positions, so I was always eager to learn and always trying to soak up as much as I could. I actually moved back into the area like about 2 years ago, and I wanted to start my own business. That's always been a goal of mine. And being given that in the last probably 4 years, I've actually did a little lifestyle change. I don't eat meat anymore. I don't eat any animal products anymore. I went fully vegan, and I wanted that to be also something that I started as a business. And I went about and I saw that around the area, Watsonville, Santa Cruz, Salinas, Monterey, we actually don't have as many vegan businesses. So I wanted to kind of offer my knowledge and stuff that I make to the public and see what would happen. And actually vegan hot dogs kind of just clicked with me after trial and error and whipping up recipes, getting feedback from friends and family. I went ahead and I opened up Cali Dog. We make our own vegan sausages. We make them out of wheat. We have 4 different, and when we serve them to the public, we serve them with different types of toppings. I wanted to veganize basically like my favorite hot dogs so that people could enjoy them. I have a chili dog, I have a Mexi dog, I have a Califa's dog, and like I said, we have 4 different types of sausage flavors. Today I will be showing you guys our Mexi street style dog. It's basically like our version of what you would find out there maybe when you go to like a sports game, maybe a night out at the bar or dancing, when you guys come outside and you see them in the little carts of hot dogs. That's basically my version of it here. So I'm gonna go ahead and get started with it.
So can you show how the sausages look once they're finished?
So normally I use gloves, but since nobody will be But this is what normally like a sausage would look like. There is no casing on it. We hand roll them ourselves. And this is normally like about like the size of it. It's fairly, you know, fairly get a nice bite to it. I will show you guys how it looks inside, but once I cook it up. But basically, like my goal was to get like a nice texture when you bite into it. I didn't want it to be anything rubbery. I wanted you to actually not miss the real thing, and that's what I actually get a lot of feedback. They're like, I get a lot of customers to say, "Wow, like I couldn't have even told that that was a vegan hot dog." So that's been my goal, so people don't miss the actual real thing. And this is actually the Fuego. It's my top seller. And this one pairs nicely with the Mexican meal that I'm about to make. I use 7 different types of chilies, and like I said, it's whole wheat based. And it has different ingredients like mushrooms, onions, garlic, different types of herbs and spices. I definitely try to, you know, put a punch in there, so full of flavor, and I'm gonna go ahead and start cooking it. So the way that I recommend cooking it, since it's a vegan hot dog, you wanna just add a little bit of oil, and you wanna start, what you wanna do is you wanna brown all sides, and I'm gonna go ahead and start warming up my bun as well. So I wanted to really use ingredients that paired nicely with my hot dog, since I put a lot of love, a lot of, you know, thought into it and good ingredients. So I couldn't find a store-bought hot dog that would nicely pair my sausage. So I actually found an Amish family who makes their own hot dog buns, and it's great quality. They're all organic. They don't use any preservatives, any funny stuff. It's the actual real thing. And I've gotten great feedback from customers as well, and I feel like it complements the hot dog really nicely. And I go ahead and I put a little oil on there too, just to get a nice little crisp on there. And so some of the toppings that I'll be using today, if you haven't tried a Mexican street style dog, is our sauteed onions and jalapenos. Again, since we try to use high quality ingredients, I try to support as many local farmers as I can. I'm blessed to live in such an area where we have fields all around, so why not support the local and get the high quality stuff. We try to use as much organic, non-GMO ingredients as we can. And as you can see, we have fresh jalapenos, sauteed onion, and I will show you guys.
It's starting to smell really good here, you guys. Sorry you guys are far away. I hope your dinner is as good as mine.
We talked to Cesario yesterday, and Cesario sort of picked the menu so he could eat.
It looks delicious. It's so hard to find vegan hot dogs that actually taste good, that don't taste like rubber. So those look really good, and I wish you were still in San Francisco.
Emily, are you a vegan?
No, but I'm vegetarian. So.
Yeah, you need. Yeah, my friend Donna's gonna love these. She mails them too. You can order them by mail.
Yes, so we sell them in a 4-pack. My goal, one of my goals in the future is to actually try to maybe get them into like.
Hold on, Maria. Hold on a second. You cut out, Cesario. I don't know if you're moving or something covered the mic or something. You could.
Is that better?
Yeah, that's better.
Okay.
Your goal. You're starting with your goal. That's when you cut.
Oh, okay. We do sell the hot dogs in 4-packs. We sell them at like the events that we do, and I am trying to start shipping them as well. just because, you know, the store-bought vegan dogs that you see in like big stores or even like small co-ops, they come from outside of California, and especially not the Bay Area. So I wanted to see if we could fill in that gap and have somebody local here provide you with a good vegan hot dog.
So what are some of the events or places that people can find you, Maria? What are you doing right now with your business?
So right now, well, since COVID, we've been having to adapt to, you know, to different kinds of changes. Right now, as of right now, we're doing like a farmer's market with the Pájaro CDC. We're also doing a bit of pop-ups, and recently I'm doing a recent pop-up at the Grange in Santa Cruz. But due to COVID, you know, before COVID, I was doing like breweries, you know, and just different types of pop-ups. We also did a pop-up here at the Pájaro CDC when COVID started. It was like a takeout pop-up, and that kind of allowed people here in town in Watsonville. We actually had people drive from like Morgan Hill and San Jose just to come try our food because they would hear about it. So that really got us excited to hear that people were excited about, you know, vegan hot dogs. I feel like there was a time when, you know, people were just at home and it's just exciting to hear that they even like heard about us being so small, you know. So it definitely, we got great feedback from people, and it was a great opportunity to use the kitchen and actually, you know, still be able to serve our food to the public. It was a nice thing that we had here. So just about
But we're missing a lot from what Maria is saying. I wonder if you can summarize the part that she said about where she's selling and something that she said about the pop-ups.
So yeah, a little bit explanation. COVID forced us to be creative and try to support the entrepreneurs that are working at the kitchen, because the majority of them are doing sales at local breweries or events, catering events. Everything got canceled. So we wanted to plan something that allow us to serve and continue having businesses selling their food. So we spoke to the health department to see if they will allow us to have a pop-up every day of the week at the kitchen incubator. But the whole idea was to develop a system where people will order online or ahead of time, so that there was no money transaction going on. So we did that for about 2 months. And that's how many of the businesses that utilized that program benefited, and they were having a little bit of income, because in reality, all the catering jobs got canceled, and it was very difficult for folks to make sales. So that continued to allow us to help and support the entrepreneurs so that they had a little bit of income coming in while the toughest part of COVID was going on. So it was very successful. Due to that, Maria, actually, Cali Dogs, it's been requesting doing other pop-ups, because the amount of people that she captured during those pop-ups were so impressed by the food that they wanted not to just have it once a week. They wanted to have her more. So she's been the one that's been doing more pop-ups after this program, just because people in Watsonville are ready to start, you know, a new diet or incorporate more plant-based food into their diet. So that was really, really good. And so let's just go and see what Maria is doing here. She's finishing the hot dog.
Yes, so I went ahead, we make our own mayo, and I went ahead and squirted that right in between the bun and the sausage. Topped it off with the sauteed onions and jalapenos. And we use soy bacon. So this has got to be the best bacon that I've tried that is vegan. I went ahead and I've tried many brands, and this one seems to be the best one to wrap everything up together.
It tastes like bacon, 100% bacon.
So this is basically it. This is our Mexi dog. I love the colors. It definitely, you know, represents what I want it to, which is like a Mexican street style dog. And I'm gonna go ahead and cut it in half just so you guys can see it.
So you can eat half, and so sorry, you can eat half. He doesn't want the whole thing. That looks delicious. I'm like, there's this, Maria, what are you planning on doing with your business? Because everybody knows, and then Erwin wants to ask a question. I mean, Impossible Burger became such the thing. Is this the next Impossible Burger?
Well, I mean, my goal, my number one goal is to open up a brick and mortar. Other than hot dogs, I love to cook different types of food. I'm actually going to be showing you guys another dish that I make. But I love to cook different types of cuisines and foods, and to me, if I could have a small little brick and mortar where I could, give people the option of a plant-based, vegan meal, I think that would be my satisfaction, definitely. But I do definitely think that, also serving the vegan hot dogs is great, and as you can see, if you zoom in, so you definitely see like layers that kind of gets you like definitely a nice texture when you bite into it. So it's definitely a recipe that I have been working on.
Amazing. Erwin, you want to ask a question?
So I have a question, but I also have a comment. I want to congratulate her on her entrepreneurialism, her true entrepreneurialism, in adapting both to the circumstances and then putting it into play, actually going after it. This is something that's happening as a trend. I see it happening in the Bay Area. I believe it had started to kind of get some ground in the Pacific Northwest, so you are making grounds from that standpoint. You said you want a brick and mortar that's at the heart of what you want.
Yes.
How are you going to abandon your tried and true method? Because this is how you're starting out. How are you going to be able to hold both the pop-up sensation, which is great, and your brick and mortar? What do you have in mind?
Well, it's something that it's still in the works. As the business is growing. I honestly I'm surprised and I'm amazed at like the feedback that I've been getting from the hot dogs. So definitely with the brick and mortar, that's something that I do want to serve. What I've been slowly incorporating as different in my menus right now to kind of see what people think is adding like a sandwich option to my menu, other than like the hot dogs. And I think opening up a brick and mortar, I think it would be more like a lunch, early dinner kind of thing. So I definitely still want to serve the hot dogs, but I also want to maybe serve like some sandwiches, different kinds of sides, make it like a spot where people can just come in and grab food to go, like a nice little fast food place.
One of my, if I can say something, one of my favorite sandwiches that she's got a chicken pesto that obviously is not chicken, but it's really good. And she also has a barbecue pork that it's not pork. And it's so delicious. The other day I saw her in the kitchen and she's making cauliflower ceviche. And it looked like the real thing, and the flavor was also really good. One of my favorite things that she makes that I will never order in a regular restaurant is actually fajitas. For whatever reason, I have this love-hate relationship with bell peppers, but that's just me. However, she makes these fajitas with a texture that looks like the real thing, but the flavor is so good, and I think that's what she's gonna do next.
Awesome. Well, you should be commended. Congratulations, and best of luck.
I mean, I see big factory in you and VC money in your future. I just can't have, but it depends on where you want to go with it. But I definitely see like there's a huge market for the plant-based food. And this looks amazing.
There are some studies that show that the plant-based diet it's going to continue to grow, and it's been growing by double digits in the last few years. So definitely, I think that the newer generations are making different decisions to incorporate more vegetables, and so I think that she's going right on the right direction.
Yeah, it just depends on your goals. You know, if the dream is to have a brick and mortar because you want to form the community and that's where you want to go, you know, that's a noble goal. I just see there. I mean, I just see, you know, becoming the vegan hot dog queen of the U.S. La reina, I should say.
She could do both.
She's going to do that on the side. That'll be her side job.
Yeah, that'll be my side job.
Yeah, your side job.
And actually, you know, when COVID hit, I don't know if you guys noticed that like the meat prices went up. So it definitely also, you know, I feel like it also had people want to like have a different option or try a different option, you know, because since you know, meat prices went up, you know, what else are you going to eat? Well, vegetables, you know, they're always available. You know, it's all about just adding flavor, seasoning, and just how you cook it as well.
So check out the texture of what looks like meat.
This is a meat. We also make our barbecue sandwiches with this. It is also wheat-based, and we use eggplant, mushrooms as well, onions, garlic, and different types of seasonings, you know, herbs and spices. But this is the type of texture that you see here. I've gotten people that have told me, they're like, well, that looks like shredded meat, you know, that doesn't even look like it's made out of vegetables, but it is. And so with the fajitas, I like to add fresh onions, bell peppers, and zucchini, just to kind of add that nice little moisture to it. Right now I am sauteing them, and I'm going to turn it to the side and start cooking my meat.
Like how you're not using a ton of oil. Can I ask a question? Because I know this is one of my issues with a lot of vegetarian and vegan or actually just products just that I don't make at home, is sodium content.
So as far as I mean, I would say I try to utilize more you know, spices rather than the actual like salt itself. Like the salt is just there to kind of like enhance it a little more. And as far as like, you know, oils and stuff, I try to use I try to stay away from like canola and soybean oil. As far as like cooking, you know, I try to stick more to like more coconut, you know, healthier oils, you know, just to
we're having a little trouble again with hearing Maria.
Sorry about that.
I don't know if it's because you're moving or holding your. I think I heard that she tries to use more seasoning rather than salt. Is that?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. So actually, and actually this is, I call it Maria's mix. Because this is actually a seasoning that I make. I use different types of herbs and spices, and this is what I like to use as like my secret ingredient to season my food. Right now I'm seasoning the fajitas with it a little bit, but I also like to use it, you know, for my chili, for the sausages, and it has no salt in here, so this definitely is like a burst of flavor.
Yeah.
I was gonna take a picture of the container where she's got the little label Maria's mix, but I forgot. I got distracted and I did not take a picture of that. Otherwise, I'll send it through chat because it's very cute.
So as you see And what I like to do with the vegetables, I don't like to like overcook them so much. That way, when they get to use the consumers, they're just nice and soft, they're not soggy. And they add whatever juices come out of the vegetables, it adds a nice flavor to the meat itself. And I normally serve this with rice, like a nice Mexican rice. And you can make tacos out of it with corn tortillas and a nice little salsa. That's how we use it.
One person who is actually all the time helping Maria is actually her mom. Her mom believes 100% and stands behind her 100%. And you see her working here, and she's actually sharing some really cool recipes with her. She makes amazing salsas. I like all the salsas that she makes all the time. And she's just here supporting her daughter, and that's a beautiful thing.
Yeah, so basically right now my production team consists of the three of us.
We cannot hear her.
So right now our production team consists of three of us. It's my mom that helps me in the kitchen, and I also have a niece that helps us when we do events. But it's basically just the three of us.
Nice.
And we've been actually serving the fajitas to local farm workers. We've been able to donate food. And one of the dishes has been the fajitas. We've also made ceviche for them. One time we made mole for them. So we've been definitely trying to, share the love over here, and they love it. We've been getting great feedback. Sometimes they don't even realize that there is no meat in it. But
Yeah, don't tell them there's no meat in it, right?
Yeah.
I love that we're seeing them, like good food, because they burn a lot of calories out there. They're constantly moving, so it's definitely this is fuel for their body.
Yeah.
That looks beautiful.
So that looks fantastic. I am drooling.
And I'm smelling everything.
I bet. Thank you, everybody. If you have to drop off, obviously we're past 5 o'clock, so thank you. Totally understand. Have a great day. You have the link to the Cali dogs, and we'll make sure we send it out in the follow-up emails so you can forward it to all your vegan friends, because I am guessing, I know my friend John is going to be all over this, and I want to try it too, because I don't like to, we eat a lot of sausages here and they have so much sodium, and I would love for my husband to get some more vegetables in his diet. So, oh my God.
Wow.
That looks delicious. Maria, how much spice did you put in? Like a couple of teaspoons or some tablespoons or something in that whole thing?
It was probably like about like a teaspoon and a half.
Teaspoon and a half? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Awesome.
And as far as salt, it was probably like maybe like half a teaspoon.
Yeah. Well, thank you. This has been amazing. I can't wait to see where you're going in a year, because, like I said, I think this kind of food is also very COVID proof. Like you said, it sounded like you had a lot of success with the pop-ups and more requests for pop-ups and people eating at home more. I know, I'm trying to find alternatives to cooking and things. So, because, we don't go out anymore. So,
yeah.
Yeah.
No, definitely. I'm glad that we're still able to operate right now with COVID, and we're still able to, use the kitchen, able to do pop-ups, of course, with following procedures, but I'm thankful that we're still able to do all that.
Yeah, good. I can't, like I said, I can't wait to check in a year from now. At our next meeting in person, where Carmen said you're going to cater, so, and what we pay. So hopefully, fingers crossed. So thank you. Thanks everybody who's from I think we have the El Pájaro team on. Thank you everybody for everything. Have a great afternoon, and yeah, Maria, we'll see you next year. But will you do mail orders? Should I take like an order for my friends and like send it all at once?
Yeah, feel free to contact me and
Okay.
there's something else we can mail it to you.
How long do they last? Like
packages, you can freeze them and they'll last you probably like about like 6 months. If you open the package, they'll last you in the fridge for about like 2 weeks.
2 weeks in the fridge. Oh my God, that's way longer than regular sausages. So if I put them in the fridge unopened and my friends can't come over that day or I can't get it to them, they have a few days to pick it up.
Yes, they do.
Awesome. Awesome. Thank you.
Thanks. Bye-bye.
You can follow her on Instagram.
Definitely.
All right. Bye, everyone.
Bye-bye.